He was told to enter through the back door like it didn't belong, but minutes later, the most powerful man in the building stood up and called him, Sir.
The wind that morning was sharp, the kind that slips through your coat and settles into your bones. Elliot Grayson pulled his collar tighter as he walked slowly toward the towering glass building. His shoes were worn, not dirty, just tired. Like they had seen more years than most men could remember. Inside, the lobby gleamed, polished marble floors, bright lights, and that faint smell of expensive cleaning chemicals mixed with fresh coffee from the corner machine. He stepped in quietly. And immediately, someone noticed. "Hey! Hey, what are you doing?" a young security guard snapped, stepping forward with a frown already forming. Elliot paused. Not startled, just patient. "I work here," he said softly. The guard looked him up and down, slow, deliberate. The kind of look that already decided the answer before hearing it. "Maintenance enters from the back," he said flatly. "You know that." Elliot nodded once. "Yes. I do." No argument. No pride. Just acceptance. And then, believe it or not, he turned around and walked out without another word. The back entrance was different. No marble. No shine. Just a metal door with peeling paint and the faint smell of damp cardboard. The wind hit harder there, colder somehow. Inside, the hallway was narrow. Fluorescent lights flickered above like they couldn't quite decide whether to stay alive. Elliot picked up his cart. Mop. Bucket. A few cloths neatly folded. Everything in its place. He moved slowly through the building, cleaning corners no one noticed, wiping fingerprints off glass no one thought about. And yet, people noticed him. Not kindly. "Careful there, old man," one employee muttered as he walked past, coffee in hand, nearly bumping into him. Another smirked. "You'd think they'd retire people at that age." Elliot said nothing. Just a small nod, and he kept working. Actually, if you watched closely, there was something unusual about him. Not in what he did, but how he did it. Every movement was precise. Measured. Almost, dignified. Like this wasn't just a job. Like it meant something. Around 10:15 a.m., the building changed. You could feel it. Conversations lowered. Phones started ringing faster. People walked quicker, straighter. And then, someone whispered it. "The CEO's coming." Heads turned. Jackets were adjusted. Laptops snapped open. Because when Daniel Whitmore walked into a room, people didn't just notice. They reacted. Elliot was in the main corridor, polishing a glass panel, when the doors at the far end opened. A group entered, sharp suits, confident steps, quiet authority. And at the center. Daniel Whitmore. Tall. Composed. The kind of man who didn't need to raise his voice to be heard. Elliot didn't turn immediately. He finished wiping the glass first, slow, careful. And then, he looked up. For just a moment. Their eyes met. And then, something strange happened. Daniel stopped walking. Mid-step. The people around him nearly stumbled, confused by the sudden pause. "Sir," one of his assistants asked quietly. But Daniel didn't answer. He was staring. At Elliot. Really staring. Like he was seeing something no one else could. "Well," Daniel said slowly, almost to himself. "I'll be damned." And then, he stepped forward. One step. Then another. The entire hallway went still. Elliot didn't move. Didn't speak. Just stood there, one hand resting lightly on the handle of his mop. And then, believe it or not, Daniel Whitmore, the CEO, the man everyone feared disappointing, stopped right in front of the old janitor. And straightened his posture. "Sir," he said, clearly. Respectfully. The word echoed. Not loudly, but heavily. Like it carried weight. The hallway froze. Someone dropped a pen. Another person blinked rapidly, like they thought they'd misheard. The same security guard from earlier stood at the end of the corridor, his face draining of color. Elliot tilted his head slightly. A faint smile touched his lips, not proud, not surprised, just knowing. "Well," he said quietly. "You've done well for yourself, Daniel." A murmur rippled through the room. Daniel exhaled a soft laugh, one filled with something deeper than amusement. "I've been looking for you," he said. Elliot raised an eyebrow. "Have you?" And then, just like that, everything began to unravel. They moved to the executive office. Doors closed. Voices lowered. But word spread anyway. It always does. People whispered in corners, piecing together fragments. "Who is he? Did he call him sir? No, that can't be right." Inside the office, the air was warmer. Still. Heavy with the scent of old wood and leather. Elliot stood near the window, looking out over the city. "You kept the building," he said. Daniel nodded. "Of course. It was yours." Elliot smiled faintly. "No, it was ours." A pause. And then, as it turns out, the truth came out quietly. Decades ago, before the glass walls and polished floors, there was just an idea. A small company. Built by two men. Elliot Grayson, and a much younger Daniel Whitmore. Elliot was the mind. The vision. The one who built everything from nothing. Daniel, well, he was the one who stayed when things got complicated. Because one day, Elliot disappeared. No explanation. No warning. Just gone. And Daniel took over. "I didn't disappear," Elliot said calmly. "I was pushed." Daniel's jaw tightened. "I know." Silence. The kind that sits heavy between two people who understand more than they say. It turned out, there had been a third partner. A man named Richard Halvorson. Charming. Ambitious. And patient. Too patient. He had slowly, carefully, removed Elliot from the company. Legal tricks. Quiet manipulations. Until one day, Elliot was out. And Richard was in. "But here's the thing," Elliot said, turning slightly. "I never fought it." Daniel frowned. "Why not?" Elliot's eyes softened. "Because I wanted to see what kind of company it would become, without me." A long pause. "And?" Daniel asked. Elliot looked around the office. At the success. The power. The legacy. "Well," he said gently. "You did better than I expected." And then. The door opened. Without knocking. Richard Halvorson walked in. Older now, but still sharp. Still confident. Until he saw Elliot. And then. That confidence cracked. Just a little. "Well," Richard said slowly. "This is unexpected." Elliot turned to face him fully. "Hello, Richard." The room felt colder somehow. What followed wasn't loud. No shouting. No threats. Just words. Careful. Precise. Like a chess game played with decades of history. And then, believe it or not, Daniel placed a folder on the desk. "I've been waiting for this," he said. Richard's eyes flickered. "What is that?" Daniel opened the folder. "Proof. Of everything. The manipulations. The fraud. The quiet takeover. All documented. All undeniable." "You're finished," Daniel said calmly. Richard laughed. A short, sharp sound. "You think this changes anything? I built this company." "No," Elliot interrupted softly. "You borrowed it." Silence. Heavy. Final. Richard didn't shout. Didn't argue. He just smiled. That same old, subtle smirk. "Well," he said. "Then I suppose we'll see what happens next." And here's where things get complicated. Because Richard didn't go to prison. Not exactly. No public scandal. No dramatic arrest. Instead, he lost everything quietly. His shares, gone. His position, removed. His name, erased from the company's history. Like he was never there. But he walked away free. Wealth intact. Reputation, untouched to the outside world. Elliot watched it all happen. Without anger. Without satisfaction. Just observation. "Well," Daniel said later, standing beside him. "Was that enough?" Elliot thought for a moment. The city lights flickered below. The same building he once built, now standing taller than ever. "I don't know," he said honestly. A pause. Sometimes, losing everything isn't about money. The next morning. Elliot didn't come back. No goodbye. No announcement. Just, gone. Again. But this time. Things were different. Because in the lobby, near the front entrance, a small plaque appeared. Simple. Elegant. It read. Founded by Elliot Grayson. And something else changed. The back door. It was closed. Locked. For good.
So tell me, was justice truly served, or was it just quietly rearranged? And if you had the chance, would you choose revenge or simply walk away like he did?